The smooth, mellow sounds of quiet thunder.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome tonight. We have some jazz from the Charlie Parker Trio. We're going to be going right until 4 in the morning. My name. Call on in. Tell me what you want to hear.
If you got your lady, go and put her clothes.
Try to give me suggestions to play on video games.
Alright. Let's go ahead. I'm just going to put this in here to rate it.
Do you want to do your mic testing?
Yeah, we can. Let me see.
Yeah. We're on that quality tip.
1, 2, 3. Way too loud. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
A 1, a 2, a 3.
Hey, we're perfect right there.
I got some grapefruit and vodka. That's what I'm drinking.
I'm broke as shit, son. I got that ice water.
Yo, man, I'm going with the H2O. I'm trying to see some cash. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just too damn lazy to go buy stuff.
Fuck it. I'll just take some water.
It's like, I could go get soda or something, but I need to drink ice water.
Yeah, fuck it. It's the best thing for you anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grapefruit juice and vodka, not the best thing for you. Not so bad, but not the best thing for you.
All right, let's get this shit going. Let's get this shit popping, son.
Do it.
This shit pop. I grief with a smile. Cause I ain't pushed a faggot in his teeth in a while.
What the fuck? Pop it like a zit, yo.
That's a nice line. Grief with a smile.
Punch a motherfucker in the face in a while. What? Get clubbed.
Alright.
Gorillas in the mist.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Wings of Redemption. And it's been a long time coming. We've been like like two old men?
Yeah, we just, star-crossed lovers who can't seem to find.
Oh, it's Black Ops 2, dude. Black Ops 2.
Yeah. You've been, we've been just playing that game and just, just trying to get around, trying to get our heads around that game and, so we haven't done this
We've been
series
neck
in weeks.
deep in Lag City.
Lag City, bitch. Lag City, bitch.
Oh.
Dude, alright, yeah. I'm gonna make a song Lag City, bitch. I'm gonna put it on the YouTube, so now I have to do it, but that's coming. Lag City, bitch. Before we get started, Vonderhaar's gotta fix it. Fuck the weapon balance. Just fix the connections and we'll all be happy. That said, what's going on?
Yeah. We'll talk about it in the next video. Today we're gonna do, as our comeback video, we're gonna do something that I've always found intriguing. DB Cooper. You didn't really know too much about DB Cooper before we started doing this, right?
You know what? It's funny. I'm actually embarrassed to say I knew almost nothing about DB Cooper, but I did hear Kid Rock talk about him once in a song. But I actually didn't really know the story about it. And when I researched it, I don't know how I didn't know about it before, but it's really, really interesting. It's one of the cooler topics that we've covered so far because it's not grounded in suspension of disbelief or supernatural. It's just some guy
it's just somebody does something fucking impressive.
Yeah, like wow, did he really fucking pull this off? Did he really have the balls to do this? And so it's not, you don't have to stretch your imagination at all. It's all happened. It's history.
So let's lay this out on the table for people that are unfamiliar with the DB Cooper story. He basically walks into an airport, buys a ticket, goes in the back of the plane, opens his suitcase up, tells the steward, yo, I got a bomb, I'm ready to kill some motherfuckers, makes them land the plane, has the federal government bring in $200,000 and give it to him, allow him to take the plane back up in the air. He jumps out the back end of the plane. I think it was like 15,000 feet.
Yeah, it was I think it was 10,000.
10,000 feet.
And he jumped out.
He's able to deploy the parachute in the Oregon wet season into the trees into the Oregon forest. The name eludes me right now.
It was at night.
It was at night too.
On Thanksgiving.
In the Oregon forest, and
it's cold.
basically hiked his way out of the fucking woods, avoided the police barricades they had set up by the federal government looking for him. Because this was back in the day. This was when $200,000 was some cash money.
Yeah, this was
This
1971.
was some racks.
1971.
This is when you could buy a house for $16,000. You know,
Right. Yeah. $200K was big bank.
he
Hundreds.
that what do you think? That's $2 or $3 million nowadays.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you translate 70 to now, but yeah, I mean, it'd
That's
be...
guesstimating. That's a guess.
Yeah, I'd say $1 million to $1.5 million.
He just basically walked out with $1.5 million and killed nobody.
No, he didn't hurt anybody. He was apparently calm the whole time. He was drinking a bourbon and water, just chilling like a villain, literally. And
then he decided to climb some mountains with some hush puppies.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. You know, it's a guy, and you know, the thing is, this was, you know, nobody had really gotten into the hijacking business yet. So he was sort of the pioneer of this, and in his wake, there was it's just a plague of copycat hijackers, and I think they had just instituted the Sky Marshal program before this happened, but it was, you know, it's just sort of the government thinking ahead and realizing that they were going to have somebody up there. But so I don't think, you know, they did Sky Marshals because of DB Cooper, but it was before there was really a demonstrated need for it. It was sort of just a contingency that the government had started doing. But after this, everybody and their fucking mother was like, fuck, I'm going to fucking hijack a plane and get a couple $100,000 too, you know. And I think there was
Most of
something
them died.
Yeah, most of them got shot in the face by the FBI, but
no, like some of them actually tried to jump out the back of the plane and just got fucking ate up.
Yeah, like get sucked into the prop or something.
Yeah.
Dumbasses. But this guy knew his shit. I mean, if we're gonna, you know, go over it, you know, I don't know if you want to get into the details of timeline and everything, but
let's get into the details a little bit. Let's talk about, like, the fact is, people found money washed ashore, but they never found him. And that leads a lot of people to believe that he actually went into, like, the Oregon River and drowned.
Right. Yeah,
but well, the fact is they never found his, like, nice suit out there. And they never found the bomb. They never found all the money. Like, you'd find $200,000 laying around. I mean, what's $200,000 weigh? A couple, 20 pounds?
Yeah, well, there's some problems with the theory that the water that washed up, it was down way downstream of the river, because, you know, you have a projected landing zone where they think he probably would have landed. And one of the reasons that if he did live through the jump and got away with it is because initially when they plotted his projected landing zone, they were off. And when you're off by something like this, and you're talking about mountain wilderness and a plane moving, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of square miles difference. So when they did their first sweep, they weren't even in the right area of where his actual projected landing zone was. So they were looking in the wrong fucking place for like weeks before they corrected it. So that could have made him get away. But the thing is, the money that washed down the river, where it landed, it wouldn't have been natural for it to really end up there without more money around, right? So they found like 3 packs of money. It wouldn't have been separated to have 3 of them together. If, you know, he fell and smashed all the money bag, went everywhere, it would have washed up. They would have found more of it down there if it all happened.
Didn't that kid find a stack?
Some kid dug it up in like fucking early 80s, right? He was like,
it was in the plastic bag and all.
Right. So it wouldn't have happened that way if he just died and it all fell in the water. So somebody moved it. Now, that's not to say somebody else, he could have died and some hunter found him when they heard about what happened on the radio, because here's sort of, all right, let me get into what I think could have happened. If he didn't live, I think a hunter found him because he heard on the radio they were looking for this guy, and he happened to be in the area, and since they were off, he found him, grabbed the money, and ended up burying some to throw off, you know, the trail or whoever, because they never found his parachute. Like you said, they never found a body, but they found like a little pack of money like 20 miles downstream. It just doesn't really add up. So he either died and somebody found it, or he lived and he buried it to throw him off his trail, is what I think. But who knows? I mean, that's the big question, is did he actually make the jump?
I think he could have made the jump, but let's talk about, before we go off speculation, what kind of person do you need to make this kind of stuff? Like we said, he has to be able to parachute into freezing cold rain weather. Yeah. You know, that would have been like iron fucking clad balls to jump into the wind he jumped into.
Yeah, it's like Army Ranger survival school type of shit right there. I mean, because again, we're talking about Oregon. We're talking about upper elevations on Thanksgiving after sundown. So it was raining. It was nighttime on Thanksgiving up in the mountains of Oregon. That's some bad weather. Not to mention, what do you think that weather's like at 10,000 feet? I mean, he was jumping into like a minus 30 wind chill.
Yeah, in a fucking suit. And that's
in a
not
trench.
like a... Yeah.
In a fucking trench coat, you know. He didn't have a helmet. And so you're jumping into the dark in the rain in 60 below weather with money bags strapped to your waist. I mean, to pull this off and to think he could pull this off, he would have had to been a very well trained in survival or and here's the other thing, okay? He had to be an expert. He knew the exact angle of the flaps of the plane had to be in order to pull off a low altitude cruising flight, because jumbo passenger jets are not made to, fly very slowly at 10,000 feet. So there's very specific things you have to do to make that happen. And he actually knew this flap angle that would allow the plane to do that and not stall out and not, dip and be able to hold a steady altitude. So he really knew like aviation and mechanics of planes. Like this guy had to be some sort of black ops pilot or some crazy shit to pull it off and live. Anybody can attempt it, but the trick is to actually like plan it out this well, execute it, and then survive that jump and get out of the mountains alive. Crazy. So what do you think? You think he lived?
I'm pretty sure he lived, because I'm looking right here at the copycats. You have Garrett Brock Chapnell. He demanded $306,800 in cash for the release of Angela Davis, and basically the FBI shot and wounded and killed his ass. Richard McCoy Jr., a former Green Beret, hijacked the United Airlines 727-100 in April and December, and it was diverted to San Francisco, then bailed out over Utah with $500,000. He landed but was arrested 2 days later. Frederick used a handgun to hijack Eastern Airlines. He demanded $303,000, eventually parachuted into the Honduras, his country of birth. A month later, FBI in pursuit and a $25,000 bounty on his head, he surrendered on the U.S. Embassy. So a lot of people have done this and got away with it.
Yeah.
Well, not got away with it. They've done it and got caught.
Yeah, right. So surviving the jump. The thing is, none of them jumped into the conditions that this guy jumped into.
But Cooper was the only one that never got caught. And
right.
I think because where he jumped into, like a lot of these people jumped in like Utah, which is just flat salt land, and like.
Yeah, he jumped into a mountainous forest.
He jumped into Survivor, man, is what he jumped into.
Yeah, right.
Motherfucker jumped into like a week of fucking shit.
Yeah. I mean, dude, how did he get out of those? Like, how did he not freeze to death that night? The fuck did he couldn't start a fire in the rain. I mean, this is 1971, okay? So it's not like he had a rucksack with a Gore-Tex blanket and, a fucking waterproof torch and some flares and some MREs. I mean, he could have had MREs in his fucking underpants. He could have
had a lighter.
But a lighter, that would be very...
I've seen those survival people just make fucking dry tinder out of almost anything. Like, I've seen them, like, dig into the tree and, like, cut shavings of the inner tree off to make dry tinder to make a fire.
Yeah, it's possible, but it seems so well planned out. But the one thing that doesn't seem to be well planned out, at least from if you look at it, is, all right, what the fuck do I do when I land? But
the only problem with that, if he made fires and he made shelter and shit, that would have been easy to track and that would have been found.
Well, here's something to consider. Apparently he, seemed to adhere to a very strict timeline as far as when he jumped. He told them to lower the stairs because back then you had these like safety stairs at the back of the plane. He had the flight crew, he basically locked them in the cabin and said, stay the fuck out of the passenger area, go up to the cabin and I'll let you know what to do. And at one point he instructed them to lower to the stairs in the back of the plane. And it was like 12 minutes later that he actually ended up jumping. So you could theorize that he had beforehand set up a place for him to go. Like already built like like an underground, place to hide with supplies and fire and blankets and stuff, and timed it so that he would jump and he knew he was going to be there. He could have had a compass in his pocket. He could have set up some sort of landmarks for him to find it once he landed, and then all he had to do was walk to his place.
He probably had the land marked out, and he knew where a cave was because he knew it was going to be a shitty ass night.
Yeah, well, that's all I mean. He had some place to go. You know,
Yeah.
he had a place to go that was stocked and ready for him and waiting for him. So that it didn't matter if all he had was a fucking trench coat and some hush puppies. He could jump out of the fucking plane and he could be, drinking bourbon and be warm under a blanket at 2 a.m. while the FBI was running around with like idiots, with dogs and shit. So it had to be somewhere where he knew they couldn't find him too. Because I'm sure he didn't try to get out of the woods right away. I mean, he probably stayed there for weeks. That would be a smart thing.
Well, yeah, because you got roadblocks at that point. But like you said, if they were 100 miles off, he could have just walked out. Like who picks that guy up? Like, you go on the side of the road, you see a guy with like a fucking dirty ass fucking suit with a sack full of money.
Yeah,
shit like that.
He might. The thing is though, like think in your shoes, if you were him, you wouldn't plan on them being wrong about the projected drop zone. You would have to plan for them knowing exactly where you landed and looking for you. And you could say, oh, well, maybe when he didn't hear any planes or helicopters, he decided to make a break for it. But that could also be at least for me, I would be paranoid. And I'd be like, I'm staying down here for 3 weeks at least before I try to go, leave. So he probably just camped out in the woods for a few weeks, counted his cash, and ended up, throwing some downstream or try to throw it off or whatever, and lived happily ever after. He'd still be alive now, I think. Or just dying.
Yeah, or just dying, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He very well might have pulled it off though. It's really amazing that he did it, and was as calm as he apparently was. I guess he was really nice to the flight crew. He was a distinguished gentleman. Just happened to need some money. Why would you do that?
Would you do that for $200,000?
Well, even if you scale it up to $1.5 million, no.
I'm talking about $200,000. Like that money's the same value now as it was back then. Like, yeah, obviously they have inflation and stuff like that, and they do those shorts. But the fact is, if you got that $200,000 in '71, it's still $200,000 today.
Sure, right, but.
Yeah, but like...
Yeah, I mean, he would have had to plan to have done something with it. Well, here's the other weird thing about that, though, right? They knew what the serial numbers were for the cash they gave him. The FBI always does that. They they keep track of serial numbers so that they can try to find, where they were spent, what they were spent on, and trace it back to you. That's usually the trail they try to find you. But they never found any transactions, even up until now. So, right, this is like 40-something years after the fact. They never found any record of serial numbers from that money being used. Ever. So that's kind of weird.
You think there's a treasure trove laying next to a skeleton somewhere in the Oregon woods?
Well, that's the one thing. Like at this point, 40 years later, don't you think this money would have turned up if it was taken?
If it got buried under leaves or something?
Well, no, I just mean like if he was what the fuck would you do this for unless you were going to spend it, right? I mean, he didn't put it in a bank. Like, the only way you would do this and not spend the money is if you were going to, put it in a bank or something like that. But that's the thing, the serial numbers have never shown up. So, if he did survive this jump and get away with it, what the fuck did he do with the money if he didn't spend it? Why would you do this if you didn't need that money for something, right? What would motivate you to do this and possibly die? I mean, the risk of dying
could be a thrill seeker.
Oh, wow.
That'd be a big thrill seeker.
Too bad they didn't have Call of Duty back then. Yeah, I want to go try to fucking go positive on Black Ops 2. There's a fucking thrill-seeking adventure.
I think that's all of D.B. Cooper. What do you guys think? Do you think D.B. Cooper died? Do you think that the Dakota people were right and it was actually one of the flight crew attendants that actually was an inside job? Do you think there's a whole sort of things? Let us know. Comments below. Always, please leave a rating, like, favorite. Check out Chaos Maps channel. It's always in the description of my videos because he's the fucking beast. He's the bomb.
Bomb diggity. Later, people.
All right.